Hey y'all, it's me, Nurse Baddie, also known as Nurse Wilson, also known as Siobhan. This is a story time about how I passed my NCLEX. First of all, let's just say I had a lot of anxiety built up. I put my test off for like 3 months after I had graduated, and during that time I was studying the cram exam. I was studying Kaplan test taking strategies, and that has some of the same questions as the actual real test. The Kaplan test taking strategies. I don't even know if they still make that same book, but I passed my test based off of a scripture in the Bible, which is Philippians 13. And it's through God all things are possible. Let me tell y'all. First of all, I studied for literally like I graduated in May. I got approved to the green light to take the test in June. I ain't taking it until August. So I was doing a lot of studying. I had so much anxiety built up or whatever. But come to find out, everything that I studied was not on the test, okay? Everything that I studied was not on the test. Only thing I give credit to was this affirmation I was saying and the Kaplan test taking strategies. It was I wanted to talk about affirmations. That's really what I wanted to come on here and talk about. You know, in the Bible, it talk about life and death is in the tongue or whatever. So for 11 days prior to taking my test, I had said, I passed my test with 85 questions the first time. And I just kept saying it. Now, repetition, whatever you repeat over and over, you actually start believing it. So I don't know. I had started studying less, and I was listening to a lot of Les Brown. I think around that time I had started listening to Abraham Hicks, but don't listen to Abraham Hicks. Come to find out, like, that is a different source than Jesus and the Bible. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother story time. But yeah, so what ended up happening was I was saying them affirmations, and then I was also mentally rehearsing or visualizing myself as a nurse. I don't know, like, in the Bible it talk about as a man thinketh, but yeah, I had said that affirmation repeatedly. Like, I would say it over and over in the morning, the afternoon, and the night. And I was just saying how I passed my NCLEX the first time with 85 questions. And oh my God, y'all, the day of the test, like, first of all, I got in there, right? They kept giving me all these multiple choice answers, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's select all that apply. That's what they call it. And it was so crazy because I'm looking like, oh my God, so how am I going to get through this? So, like, the first little couple questions I took, and then that's when I took a break, and then I went outside and I looked up and then I bowed my head and I prayed and I said, God, I promise you, if you get me through this, I will definitely look out for my family. And that's all I've been doing since I've been a nurse, is taking care of other people. If it's not physically, it's financially. So I have spent a lot of money on other people. But I don't advise nobody to do that, because you got to think about yourself and you got to have some savings. Like, the money come fast. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just glad I'm saving now. But I've been a nurse now for like 7 years. But affirmations work. Affirmations work. And mentally rehearsing yourself, seeing yourself like as a man think of it, talk about that in the Bible too. That work, like, just seeing yourself where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And prayer. I would have never passed that test, like, if I didn't go outside and pray, because everything they was asking me was stuff that I did not study. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, I studied so much, and it just seemed like the stuff that I studied is not on the test. Like, it was crazy. It was like, when I tell y'all it was crazy, like, them questions was like crazy. Like, when I say crazy, I mean, it was like, it was really stuff that was like about newborn babies. It was just stuff that was basically stuff that you didn't really learn in school, and stuff that you really didn't, focus on. But they say like the questions is randomly selected or whatever. But I just wanted to make a story time about me taking the NCLEX. I remember the day. It was August the 16th. Actually, it was 2016, so that was some years ago. But I made this video because I remember like going through nursing school. Like, I felt like 3 classes out of 15 classes. I think it was 15 classes I had to take. And when I felt those classes, I had so much anxiety. It was so much tension around like taking the NCLEX. I kept feeling like, oh my God, like, I do not want to fail this test. I had so much test taking anxiety. So what eased it was listening to motivational speakers. I also was going to church around that time. I was going to the Living Word, but now I go to Change Church, Global Church. But yeah, it was the affirmation. I was saying it over and over repeatedly in my mind. I took my NCLEX and I passed it with 85 questions the first time. And that was the affirmation I had. And then, like, when I first started saying it, because it's randomly selected from 85 questions to 205 questions. So I'm talking about the LPN NCLEX. That's the one I'm talking about. So, but it don't matter. Like, if you're taking an RN NCLEX, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever one, I'm telling you, you definitely do have to study, but those affirmations, they increase my faith. They increase my self-belief in myself. Like, it just like ease my test taking strategies, my test taking anxiety. So that's why I'm talking about it, because in test taking anxiety is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I just felt like compelled to talk about it or whatever. But the scriptures that I was really leaning towards is I can do all things through Christ. And that is really what got me accepted into nursing school, through nursing school. I've been basically using that scripture, like, even as a nurse, like, to touch people, pray for people, heal people. So that scripture is major. Like, it's real, where they say I can do all things through Christ. And I had those affirmations, and I was just, basically referencing back to how God will bring you through whatever you going through. And most people, when they're in nursing school, they don't really make time to read the Bible or to pray. But I was going to church like the whole way through nursing school, because I just felt like, oh my God, like, this is so hard. Like, this is so hard, and so much is riding on this. And I really need to accomplish this goal. God didn't bring me this far to fail. I'm telling you, anybody getting prepared to take a test, come up with your affirmation. I took my NCLEX and I passed it with however many questions you want to take. I went for 85 because I just felt like I don't want to be up in there all day. So I just said I said that I took my NCLEX and I passed it the first time with 85 questions. It was shocking when the computer actually cut off at exactly 85 questions. When it cut off, I was like, oh my God, what just happened? Like, the computer cut off. So I'm like, I was just looking at the computer like, did this thing really just cut off at 85 questions? Like, did it really just cut off at 85 questions? And it did. And then I was just like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. Like, what am I going to do? Like, So then the next day rolled around, and one of my classmates, Autumn, she called me and she was like, "Congratulations, nurse. You made it." And I was like, "What?" I went outside. I started screaming. I started jumping. I was like, "Oh my God. I can't believe I passed that test." It was crazy. Like, when I say it was crazy, it was crazy. Like, but I learned. You just gotta have faith. You have to have faith. And it's like, having faith, sometimes it's hard, but you just gotta think about it like, God is real. Everything, like, he brought you this far. He's not done with you yet, and you just gotta just trust him. That's what you gotta do. You gotta trust him and just be. He'll never fail you. That's what I learned about God. God will never fail you. People will fail you, but God, he will never fail you. He'll never let you down. Like, even if you go through something, it's a lesson. It's a lesson in everything. That's what I learned. So yeah, y'all, that's my story time. Comment if you got any questions or anything like that.